So the next movie up is Trap. Now I saw Trap first, and I said, hey, I saw it. I thought it was okay. You might, if you want to check it out, we can talk about it. But I didn't make any illusions that it was good. It's just that it wasn't necessarily. I didn't think it was M. Night Shyamalan's worst movie. And the basic conceit of it is that the character played by Josh Hartnett here is a serial killer that figures out early on in the movie that this concert he's taking his daughter to is actually a sting operation to capture him. They don't know what he looks like or what he sounds like. They have a general description, but that's it. They know he's a man. And so the movie is about him trying to escape that trap, which is why it's called Trap. Having said that, I feel like part of the reason why this movie exists was so that M. Night Shyamalan could show off either his daughter or his granddaughter singing. And it's pretty obvious. I had no idea about that going into this movie. And it's pretty clear once you see her name up on the screen, then you start seeing the singing numbers, which kind of go on for quite a bit at different points. The fact the movie's not that long, but she gets like 10 minutes of screen time just singing. That they wanted to definitely show off her talents. It doesn't really hurt the movie particularly, but it's kind of silly how obvious that is what they're doing. But let you start off with how did you feel about this movie? Having said that, that's what the movie was about. What did you think about it as a film going experience?
I think it's one of those worst films. That's really saying something. Because I recently saw Old, which is terrible. But
okay.
The biggest disappointment to me, basically, I think this movie started off with a good premise.
Right? It's the kind of movie I would like, yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It's kind of a reverse Die Hard thing. Like, he just like, you're trapped in here, and then he uses his wits. He's creating like diversions to get away from the policemen and these disguises and everything.
Right.
There's a couple scenes that was pretty good where he should have stuck with that through the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of in the middle, he kind of loses the premise. And like you're saying, he might have been just showing his daughter off. And I didn't know that was his daughter either. And I'm thinking, like, is this the one who directed Watchers? Like, no, this is another daughter that he's trying to peddle off to the public.
Mm-hmm.
But it just boils down to the second half of it. It just became one of them generic catch the killer movies where the killer is getting out of certain situations which doesn't make sense, which is not explained, and then they got a whole thing where he's Superman at the end where they're shooting him with tasers and he doesn't go down and all that. And it's just, I don't know, it just broke down to generic crap. It's crappy horror movies. And it's just like, and the ending is not even, the big surprise wasn't even that surprising. It was just, I don't know.
And it didn't necessarily mean anything. Without saying any more, it's like a surprise, but I don't know what to make of it. It's one of those. Like, it doesn't. Okay, great. That we just saw that, but I don't know what that means. So it's one of those. But okay, so I'll say this.
My notes. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically what. I don't. I mean, if you want to, there's actually a good 20-30 minutes. Is actually good, but it just doesn't. He doesn't stay with it.
See, here's my thing. So I liked it more than you did. I gave it a 5, which is just like, it's okay, right? It's just, I enjoyed it. I'll never watch it again, but I didn't much mind it. It's a low end 5, but and the reason why is because you're right. For the first part of the movie, which is really, I think, the first 2 acts, like, I think the part of him being trapped in there, it lasts, the movie's only like 90 minutes long. It lasts like almost the first hour. So that part's cool, but there's a weird thing where the protagonist shifts from one person to another. You think the protagonist is his daughter, but it ends up being like Shyamalan's daughter. And you're like, what's going on here? Like, that's a really weird thing. And you were watching it like, wait, what's going on? It's an odd thing. But here's the thing though, like, having said that, and they're big plot holes in it. So there's several plot holes where you're like, really? Like, we're doing this? Like, the fact how he finds out about the trap in the first place is a little bit shaky. But I'm like, okay, somebody messed up. Then there's stuff about he figures stuff out that like doesn't make any sense how he figured it out. Remember the thing where he goes up and talks to somebody, he knows who they are somehow, but there's no explanation of how he knows who they are. He just figures it out, somehow. Things like that. It just didn't really make much sense. There's a lot of flaws in it that way. But to me, there's an earlier twist I thought was interesting, which is the one about how the trap got set up, which again, I want to say, but that I thought that was kind of a cool twist. I thought when they explained that, I thought that was kind of cool. So to me, like again, for the M. Night Shyamalan scale, this is probably for me around where, even though The Watchers was his daughter, some same type of movie in terms of like it's Shyamalan family tree kind of same type of thing. I liked it probably about as much as that movie, but for different reasons. Again, it was the kind of movie I want to like, so that helps. And that's the one thing I find too when I'm rating movies and I'm looking at them is it does matter if you're predisposed to certain movies, like Wicked. Wicked's a musical. If you really like musicals, like my daughter likes musicals, she liked it more than I did. But we really don't disagree about the aspects of the movie, the issues with it, like the stuff about the broad drama. Like I talked to her about that stuff. She talks about acts and different things, and I've told her all that nomenclature, and she just likes it more because she likes musicals more. So this is the kind of movie that I would just tend to like, and so I still kind of like. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't, even though there's certainly crappy aspects to it. I thought Josh Hartnett's performance is just okay. Like there's some parts I like, but other parts are kind of corny. Just things like that. Like there's always little kind of M. Night Shyamalan flaws to it. Again, like some of the writing's kind of shoddy, some of the dialogue is stupid, some is okay. Some of it's among the better parts, kind of his dialogue, but other parts is horrible. But it's The Happening. It's like it's got some stuff I enjoyed in it, and so yeah, I would put it above The Happening, which I think maybe his worst one that I've seen. I never saw Lady in the Lake or whatever name, Lady in the Water, whatever it is, but which I heard was very good. But it's better than The Happening. It's better than I think Old. And for me, but not by much. Old is okay. Old's probably like a 3 or 4, but it's a little better than Old for me. But it's just it's okay. Watching it, I didn't really mind it that much. But at the end, I'm like, that was weird. You just kind of watched it, and you're like, I enjoyed parts of it. And, certain sequences to it where he's trying to, as you said, reverse Die Hard. He's trying to escape the police. Some of the ways he does it's kind of cool. The trick when he's backstage and he's talking to the chicken when he, there's definitely some cool stuff he's doing. But yeah, on the other hand, there are big flaws. So there's some people that might know themselves to be kind of snobs when it comes to cinema. Like there's some people that if anything wrong with a movie, it will take them out the movie and they can't like it. So they can only really deal with movies that take themselves super seriously. This movie would be horrible for you. You would get so mad this movie within like 20, 30 minutes, you'd be like, what the F am I watching? But if you're more like somebody who's seen like me, like seen over 2,000 movies and enjoyed plenty of ones that were kind of stupid, but also good ones, and you got more tolerance for this kind of shenanigans. Because let me honestly, if you're that kind of person, you should have watched a Night Shyamalan movie. You should have been like done with it after like Unbreakable. That should have been about it for you. But if you're still willing to see M. Night Shyamalan movies, this is probably closer to a best case scenario than worst case, I guess I would say.
Yeah, and honestly, when I saw the preview for this, I didn't know that was Josh Hartnett.
Yeah,
like, it's like he's like aging well, because I'm used to seeing him that slender kind of 17, 18ish looking like kid, but he actually looks old. His age actually shows.
Yeah, I think he hasn't been in a lot of stuff recently. Like I think he's kind of been kind of out on the outs in Hollywood maybe a little bit, just not getting a lot of roles. I don't know if he did anything wrong or anything, but just not getting a lot of opportunities in the last bit of time. So, but yeah, I don't remember seeing. I can't remember the last movie Josh Hartnett was in. Maybe Pearl Harbor. What was the last movie you remember Josh Hartnett being in?
He might have took a sabbatical like Bill Murray, because I know Bill Murray disappeared for a few years and he came back.
Yeah, Bill kind of like he plays hard to get too. Like he'll do stuff, but you gotta like chase him down and stuff, and kind of like beg him to do it and stuff. Like he's kind of a diva like that,
Let's see what's he was in Oppenheimer. Ernest Lawrence. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, he was in Oppenheimer. I forgot about that. He was in Oppenheimer.
He's not like the main star in the most movies.
Yeah.
This is Wrath of Man, Valley of God, Target. I haven't heard of any of these movies.
Oh, Wrath of Man. That's a Jason Statham movie.
Okay.
That's one of them's the action movie where he's like mad about something, gonna kill everybody or something.
Okay.
He's the Wrath, I think. I haven't seen it though, but I think he's the Wrath.
God. I think the last thing I saw him was 30 Days of Night, honestly. It was like 2007. I haven't seen
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's just been around, but it's easy to have missed him. Thanks for watching this clip from Only the Real Movie Podcast. Please like and consider subscribing to Low Key Classic Movies. And look out for the next episode of Only the Real Movie Podcast coming at the end of every month. Check out a full podcast or maybe one of these clips or another video from Low Key Classic Movies.